If you're looking for a show that has formal interviews with few things you can relate to, then this show isn't for you. This is the On the Air podcast starring you, the OTAP Show. What does OTAP stand for? Well, we kind of just told you. These are informal interviews with people from all walks of life, talking about experiences you can relate to. Share in all of the laughs with real stories from real people. Find the show on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen on the free Podcast Republic app. Now, get ready for this week's episode. Here's the OTAP Show with your host, Corey.
What up, everybody? It's your boy Smooth Over, aka Real Goes Right.
Hey, this is Nikita, aka Jakari Star.
Yo, what's good? This is your boy Bob.
This is Kaya, aka Black Honey.
Hey folks, this is Corey, the host for Metal for Brains.
Your girl, she's supposed to be.
This is Greg, the infamous Louise like Turner.
Kicking it with the homie Corey, aka The Real City. Now you're listening to On the Air podcast.
And you're listening to the On the Air podcast.
The On the Air podcast.
The On the Air podcast.
Starring you.
Starring you.
Starring you.
I don't think that there's no heavyweight alive who couldn't beat me. I know they're not alive.
One,
I know
two.
they're not alive.
Check me out right here, yo.
From Louisville,
Turn the
Kentucky,
track up a little bit.
he's wearing white trunks. He weighs
Mic is loud.
213 and a half. Return of the champion, Muhammad Ali.
What do you think that boxing would be today if you weren't around? Oh man, if it wasn't for me, they'd be very good. They get $50 a ringside seat. I'd have raised the price up to $250. What do you think? I've got people crash airplanes, models in Chicago, New York, flying special charter jet planes in, champagne flights just to see the champ.
That's for the wild.
I'm saying you're talking about me about some draft, and all of you white boys are breaking your neck to get to Switzerland and Canada and London. I'm not going to help nobody get something my Negroes don't have. If I'm going to die, I'm going to die now, right here fighting you. If I want to die, you my enemy. My enemy is the white people, not the Vietcongs or Chinese or Japanese. You my opposer when I want freedom. You my opposer when I want justice. You my opposer when I want equality. You won't even stand up for me in America for my religious beliefs, and you want me to go somewhere and fight, but you won't even stand up for me here at home.
Why you insist on being called Muhammad Ali now? That's the name given to me by my leading teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's my original name. That's a black man name. Cassius Clay was my slave name. I'm no longer a slave. What does it mean? Muhammad means worthy of all praises, and Ali means most high.
You continue to be unafraid.
Yeah, I like to say something right here. Cassius Clay, yes.
You want to say Cassius Clay when Howard Cosell and everybody is calling me Muhammad Ali, then why you got to be one of all people whose color to keep saying Cassius Clay?
Howard Cosell is not too much. I'll fight you.
You're making it really hard on yourself now. In the sport angle, why don't you call me my name, man?
Well, what's your name? You told me your name was Cassius Clay.
I never told you my name was Cassius Clay. My name is Muhammad Ali, and you will announce it right there in the center of that ring after the fight if you don't do it now.
That's bad. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick.
And now introducing his opponent, fighting out of the red corner. This man is a brawler. He holds a professional record of 3 wins with 1 loss. Standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 212 pounds. Fighting out of Miami, Florida, Kimbo. And when the action begins,
I know the UFC fans, you know what I'm saying, they want to see me knock this guy. They want to see me knock somebody the fuck out. That's what they want to see. Hell, that's what I want to see.
The thing is that I've talked a lot of stuff about Kimbo, but I absolutely respect the fact that he stepped up and he's coming on. This is the guy who fought on CBS is a big draw, and a lot of people were offering him a lot of money, and he wants to be legit. He wanted to come on The Ultimate Fighter. We're all over the place. tell you what, you don't get paid to come on the Ultimate Fighter. You come in and you fight and try to win a contract, you know. And I got to give the guy the respect for doing it.
I wanted to break his jaw. I wanted to break his ribs, and I accomplished that. I fractured it, but you know, I went in with the intentions. I wanted to break his jaw. I wanted to break his ribs, and I accomplished that. I fractured his ribs. I fractured his jaw. I fractured his what do you call it, orbital bone. Oh, you read all that. So why are you asking me all these questions?
I'm young, I'm handsome, I'm fat, I'm pretty, and can't possibly be beat. Round 5. No special training, just be at the fight. I'm ready to back up everything I'm saying, and I'm through talking.
Start to really move forward, Joe? Nice jab by Kimbo. Here's your answer. Now Kimbo's getting aggressive. Kimbo's got a hold of him.
I don't think that there's no heavyweight alive who couldn't beat me. I know they're not alive.
Welcome to another episode of the OTAP Show. We have a brand new podcaster. Like, this is your first podcast that you've started, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We definitely gonna talk about that, the Gheigh Agenda, which I'm very, very excited for. But before we get into all of that, I have Miss Quinn on the line. Quinn.
Hi.
What's happening?
Hey everybody, how are you?
What is Quinn short for? Because and here's why I asked that. And if you don't want to answer it, I get it. But I've heard so many different variations of what Quinn could be that is fascinating to me.
Yeah, they like to Karuchi my name, you know. So no, Quinn is short for Quindrana.
Quindrana?
Yeah, Quindrana.
Oh, with an N, not an M, right?
Yeah, Quindrana.
Oh, okay. I was about to say Quindrama. Okay, that's not good.
No, people like to call me that when they being facetious with me. But no.
Are you dramatic?
Look, ask my girls, probably up there.
Oh, okay. That's where we get the real news from.
Right.
Before we get into the show, I just gotta say I'm tired of. I've never felt like this about a particular year before, but I'm tired of 2016 because 2016 is taking all of our greats. Like, I don't know who pissed off 2016.
Who owed 2016 child support?
Exactly. Like, 2016 is coming through the block, fucking everybody up. I'm not even over Prince yet. Like, I was at the Beyonce concert in Chicago a couple weeks ago, and she started singing Beautiful Ones, and I wasn't ready for that shit. And you know, those tears started rolling because that's a powerful song, and how she sung it, I was like, shit, why did you do that? Then they rolled into Purple Rain, so I was a wrap.
Well, I'm trying to avoid Beyonce concert clips because I'm going to the concert in Nashville, which got postponed to October.
Damn.
But yeah, so I'm trying to avoid seeing any concert footage.
Well, check it out. She's coming back to Atlanta in September. So if you want to, make that drive and see it a little sooner.
Well, shit, I already got my great seats. I got me and Kay floor seats for her birthday.
Oh, okay.
So
cool. You're gonna enjoy it.
Yeah. We big fans, but yeah, I agree. Like, it does seem to just be a year of like just trauma.
Yeah.
And even with what's going on here locally in Memphis, like the crime is like crazy. And like just last night or over the weekend, an officer got killed, and the person who killed him, I think, killed 3 other people that same night. Mm-hmm. Like, it's crazy. And I just was thinking, like, wow, like the emotional health of people, it's just got to be traumatic. Because even though we didn't know Prince personally or Muhammad Ali, it just resonates with you. Like, people who are proudly black And like, especially when they die unexpectedly, like Prince did.
Exactly.
Yeah, it does affect you in a way.
Prince didn't know this, but he was a big part of my life. You know what I mean? And I remember just the first time listening to Prince and not knowing who he was, and it was my mom that introduced me to him. To the song and who he was, and same thing with Muhammad Ali. Like just watching old clips of Muhammad Ali from a fairly young age. It was my pops that kind of told me who he was and whatnot. He's actually a year younger than my dad, and so just I think what I've taken from him was just confidence. Whatever you do, just stand on your own too, and like just be steadfast with it. And also talking shit. So
right, because talking shit and confidence, they two different things, but they do go hand in hand.
Yeah, they do. Especially
but also like Alito was able to back up all his shit.
Oh yeah,
you can't be out here like just talking like you like the baddest or whatever, and you're like, no, girl, like you can't have the ego of a Mercedes and you really a Ford Focus. You just have to be cognizant of yourself. You got to be self-perceptive, definitely, but also it's good to be braggadocious sometimes. And that's what I like about Ali. He always just let you know flat out he was the prettiest and the best person in the room at all times.
People have this thing where they feel like they feel like it is their place to keep you humble. And that is not your position. That is not your place to humble me. If you have like you have someone that say, I don't want to give you a compliment because it's going to give you the big head. First of all, that is my compliment, whether you say it or not. That is my compliment. And what happens with it once you release it into the universe is none of your concern.
Yeah.
Or you have, like, for instance, so let's take the Golden State Warriors, right? Steph Curry, Klay Thompson,
right.
All of those people, right? So when they first started,
the crew, excellent.
Yeah, exactly. So when they first started, and they would, just everybody just fell in love with the way they shoot, and Steph Curry is inhuman, you know what I mean? Like all these great things, and they're doing really great. Now, all of a sudden, because they're doing so great, now people want to see them lose and humble them. For fucking what? Mm-hmm. Why?
Well, that's just kind of like mob mentality type shit anyway. And so, I don't know if you know this about me. I used to be married. And I say now that humility is a useless trait because it serves to keep my ego in check for you.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
To me, it's a way for you to be proud. Like, now, when you're a narcissistic person, that's a very different type of pride.
Right.
But in my marriage for 5 years, I heard every day that I wasn't shit almost. So once I got out from under that, it took some years, and I'm 5 years out of my marriage now. Mm-hmm. It took some years, but now, like 2016 has been my year professionally in person. I am streaking, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing so good. And so I see just some like small incidents of conversations with people or, you know, things that might happen on Twitter. Like people try their best to humble you. That is a big thing on Twitter, to humble somebody. Mm-hmm. And I'm at a point where you can't tell me shit about me no more. Like, I feel fucking fabulous.
You better say that shit.
And that's about you. Mm-hmm. Now, I ain't the bad or nothing like that. Like, you know, the first thing that people say on Twitter is, oh, you fat. Yeah, I like to eat. Duh. Like, food is awesome. Like, I'm not saying of this. You know, I can afford food. Thanks. And so, you know, it's just, it's something that I think that humility is good in some places. Like, when you're speaking to certain types of people who may be less fortunate than you.
Right.
But if it's just serving to make you feel better about your self when you're in the presence of somebody else, that's not humility. That is your arrogance wanting to keep my confidence in check.
Exactly.
And so I I love like the proudness and the pride like that I'm in right now, and I just wish everybody felt this way. But it also took me a couple of years, and like you get to a certain weight, you just be like, well, look, I ain't gonna change this shit. I'm gonna eat, so I might as well just be okay with who I am. But I definitely don't like the humility part of it. But if they streaking shit, start on then. You know, I like the Golden State Warriors. I'm trifling though. I'm going for the Cavs and the Warriors, so I win.
Oh, okay. So you just watching TV?
Yeah, I'm just watching. You know, I'm just trifling. I ain't gonna lie.
So if in your marriage, right, and right now you're in a really great place, right? In your marriage, having to hear that you ain't shit, right? And so that sort of weighs on you. How did you come out of that? How did you get from that to the Quinn that I'm talking to right now? Because for some people, that's a very, very deep chasm.
Yeah, and it was. And like it took years to even get out of that coupleship. Okay. And when I left my husband, I left with $23. I'll never forget that. And I moved in with my best friend and my son's godmother. I call her my sister, actually, who we hadn't been very close friends for that long. But she, to her credit, she took in a broken woman, and at the time, my son was 3, so in a 3-year-old, and let us stay in her 2-bedroom apartment with her. And I remember having to rebuild my life from scratch. And there was plenty of times I wanted to go back to his ass because it was just easier to be with him than to rebuild my life by myself. And even for months, I was still kind of attached to him, right? Because we weren't officially divorced. We still shared like our phone line. I still had one of our cars, stuff like that. But once all of that stuff changed, the day I signed divorce papers, that's when I really started to rebuild. And it took one of my friends, one of my other best friends. I got like 11 best friends. But I don't even like debating that because I've been told that's impossible. But you know, so one of my best friends is Swedish, and she's a photographer. And so one of the big issues in my marriage was about how I looked, like my confidence. He would, you know, completely dismantle everything about me physically. And so we did a photo shoot where I took some pictures, a lot of pictures, and I wasn't allowed to see them until she, you know, put them on like a disc or something. So we had a viewing party with all of our friends, and we, you know, she played the pictures on the TV, and the rule was I was not allowed to critique myself negatively at all. And so that moment started to change how I looked at myself physically. And then it still took plenty of years and plenty of missteps. And sometimes I have bad days, but I also went to counseling. I went to see a therapist to help me out of this. And I also started celebrating the day I left him. I call it Quindependence Day.
I love it.
I know. So I celebrate that every year to remember I rebuilt my life literally from scratch. And I didn't do it for my son. And I love my child, but I need to get him out of that abusive environment as well. But I did it for me. And I left for me. And I'm just so... And it's days where I have bad days, but like I said, 92% of the time, I'm completely happy with everything about me. And that's just where I am.
Was it just just verbal abuse?
No, it was physical and some sexual abuse as well.
Wow.
And not just against me, against my son and even the dog. Like, he was terrible fucking person. Like, yeah, like he would, you know, I'll never forget the morning I left. We had our fight. He had fussed at the baby. And I remember him hitting the dog on his way out. And because he was a little bit older than me, so he had already graduated. I was in college, by the way. And I remember him hitting the dog on the way out. And I remember hearing how the dog sounded. And that's when I knew I had to get the fuck up out of there. And I left. And thankfully, I went to a safe place where that my best friend wouldn't let me go back because I wanted to. She wouldn't let me.
How long into did the abuse start when you when you married him?
It kind of did because the verbal abuse had always kind of been there. But he had always had like anger management problems. And I was young. I thought you love hard, you fight hard, you know. And also, like, at that point, he had started to get into my head psychologically, like, nobody would want a single mom because my son isn't his child. So, you know, and Jeremiah's father at the time was completely active. So he was my son's father for all, you know, purposes.
Did he beat his ass?
So, did my baby daddy?
Yeah.
Oh, we had to restrain him. I'll assure you, though, my ex-husband got everything that came to him.
Okay.
You know, I'm so happy with that pettiness about myself. Yeah, he got all his shit. But no, it didn't start. It started like, it started in increments, and it started to escalate once we moved from Oxford, which is where I went to school, Ole Miss. Once we moved from there and moved to a town where he got his first teaching job, and then we moved back up to Oxford. And he started to see me get, like, independence, and I started this organization at Ole Miss for Black women, and I was in the press, and he started to see that I was going to be the shit, and his ego couldn't handle it, and that's when it really escalated.
So, wow, did not know that. So put us kind of in the head, in the mind of someone in this situation, right? And eventually, you know, you did get out of it, but kind of illustrate for us the chains that were on you. Because I know that there's a part that was like something's not right, but I also know that there was a part that made you feel like you were chained there, like, which is why you didn't leave. And correct me if I'm wrong. So illustrate that for us and kind of give us a picture of what that was like and what eventually helped you. You know, I don't know if it was a phone call or what, but however it got you from to break those chains to be with to move out, you know, with your friend.
Well, so battered woman syndrome is basically what I was going through. It's like the Stockholm syndrome version of what women who are in abusive relationships get. And so with that, and it's different types of abuse, right? Financial, emotional, sexual, physical, obviously. So with mine, it was a combination of things. And once you get to that place where you no longer have the self-esteem to care about you. So, like I said, I left for me, but it took the spark of hearing the dog, somebody completely helpless, to kind of get me motivated to leave. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and it was just rough. And so sometimes I would go back and forth. Again, we would have really good days. We would have really terrible days. You know, and I was a housewife. So, you know, I was doing that and going to church and, you know, suppressing my sexual desires for women was a really big issue. Mm-hmm. And, you know, and of course it was a regular marriage, so we didn't have sex. So it was, you know, it was just a lot. And I cooked all the time. I cleaned and always cooking for his friends and shit. And, you know, it was just, I thought this is what I was supposed to be doing. And then it was reinforced even by our pastor who said to me, you know, like, well, what did you, I told my pastor that my husband was hitting. And he said, what are you doing that makes him hit you? So it was like this entire culture. I know, right? Yeah, you know, I'd go all day shade that nigga, but I'm gonna let him make it. But it was an entire culture of just like abuse and like, and I know this is a Tumblr and Twitter, you know, but like patriarchy, like in like suppression, and it was just, I felt muffled, and my whole day revolved around this man. Like, I need to make sure I'm home to make dinner, and I was like laying out his clothes and ironing his drawers and shit. And mind you, we started dating when I was 18. So I had never had a real relationship. He was the first man I ever lived with. The first man, I mean, he taught me how to drive. We took vacations together, and, you know, he liked Xbox like me. Like, we had a lot in common. And so I thought that this was somebody who I'm supposed to be with. And also, I had been modeled abusive relationships all my life. That's all I saw growing up. So I thought that this was acceptable, you know? Mm-hmm. And it just, I look back at it, and I swear to God, I laugh. Like, he is getting married for the third time, actually, now. And he's not 30 yet. Well, I think he turned 30 the other day or something. Well, whatever. I hope he had a terrible birthday. But, you know, he literally just turned 30, and he's been married. Well, he's getting ready to be married 3 times. And so nobody believed me either about the abuse, except the people who saw me and who watched me a shell of who the fuck I was. You know, and then after his second wife, I guess after he hit her and stuff, I got all kind of messages from people like, oh, you know what? No, I believe you. Well, girl, fuck you. I don't care anymore. It's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. And I told her what she was getting into. You know, but she had a gap. She probably don't listen to nobody. But she was his mistress as well, come to find out. So I'm not saying she deserved abuse, and damn sure they baby didn't deserve to see anything like that. But at the same time, I'm an avid believer in women. When a woman tells me something, I believe it. You know, that's my default, is to believe a woman. But, you know, from what I hear, his life is, you know, going terribly. And I'm just so happy. Ain't God good? You know? And I just...
Absolutely. My question is this, because and we'll dive deeper into this in a little bit, but I want to ask it while it's on the forefront of my mind. You said that you know, you were suppressing your desires for women, and right now, you know, I believe you're in a relationship now with a woman, right?
Yeah.
So my question is this: I don't want this to come off as sounding like he pushed you to women, because clearly those desires were already there. But did any of that shape your or reshape your views towards men?
No, because Khadijah is the first woman I've ever dated, and I'm the first woman she's ever dated. I've had plenty of sex with women, because why not? Women are off. So, you know, I've always liked women. I remember being 5 and looking at a girl in kindergarten and thinking she's so pretty. I remember that. Mm-hmm. So that's never changed for me. It's just that when I dated him, you know, I was very open about my bisexuality. He knew that. And
so why did you suppress it?
Because, you know how, I'm going to tell you a little known secret. A lot of men fake like they cool with bisexuality because they think it's threesomes and shit, because they assume, and most people do assume, gay and straight, that when you hear that somebody's bisexual, that means that they're a cheater. I ain't no cheater. I just like peanut butter and jelly, and that's it. So, you know, if, and I'm a monogamous, so if he was saying like, oh, that's so sexy, that's cool, you know, his boys was hyping him up like, damn, you got a girl that like girls. But then I'm like, okay, so would you ever want to do a threesome? He's like, yeah. And so I'm setting shit up with people I know we both attracted to, and he was just like, I don't believe in that, don't do it. So a lot of men are very into bisexual women, but very privately, they are not. They're real Republican when it comes to this. So, you know.
I'll share a story. I'll share a story with you and the audience. One of my exes. It was, when was we? Some people know who she is. Some people don't. I'm trying to think of how many exes ago was this. This may have been 2 or 3 exes ago. I can't remember the years. The years went together, right? It really helped me to understand exactly what bisexual was, because and until that point, you know, you're thinking, or you're making excuses, or you know, you are justifying it as, oh well, that's gay. Either bisexual, it's just gay. And so what it was my ex told me, she had these desires, but you know, she was young, she didn't really know what to do with it or what to make it. You know what I mean? She was coming into society with it, and you know, it was far less accepted then, even though, you know, it was still a woman. So I understood what she was going through. But she came to me and she told me, what it was and how she felt. And at first I didn't know how to take it. So I was really, really taken aback by it. Because the first thing I thought it meant was, and I feel bad for making it about me, but I felt like I wasn't enough at that point. And she was so patient, and we would talk about this every day. And any questions that I had, she would answer them, and what it meant and all of those things. So I have a very, very good understanding of it, and I understand that it's not quote unquote gay. It is what it is. She likes men and she likes women. It's not so much that I wasn't enough. It's just, this is because when it was me and her, it was just me and her. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking that this was something brand new that I had to get past. So you have a lot of times when you have a situation like that, and the dude is thinking, maybe I turned her. That was probably already there. That probably had nothing to do with you. And I had to learn that had nothing to do with me. And what I also learned was that it doesn't necessarily just automatically mean that they're going to cheat. If you're in a monogamous relationship, you're in a monogamous relationship. It just means you just got hella options when you out of that relationship.
Or, it also don't mean that because I'm bisexual, we don't have threesomes.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's a misconception.
But you know what? That's just, that's, and I was of that crowd. You know what I mean? I was ignorant. I think that's just the ignorance of it. It doesn't mean that you're necessarily even more of a freak in the sexual term. You know what I mean? The sexual doesn't mean that you're any more of a freak than what you probably would have been if you were just straight. Doesn't mean that that everything is open and available. And that's the part that people don't get. And I'm pretty sure that's a topic that you guys are going to tackle on your podcast. But I
we are actually, that's the next episode.
Oh yeah. So
biphobia.
So y'all might have to have me on to share my story. No, I'm just messing with you.
Like everybody has some shit going on with biphobia on the show. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that was my understanding of it. And it helped me to understand it. But you have to want to understand it. You have to want to be in the mind. You can't. Someone's telling you, and this isn't anything. Someone's telling you something about them. You don't make it about you. You have to hear what they're saying because they're telling you something about them and trying to get you to understand it. And one, it's a big step to even put that out there. The worst thing you can do is try to make that shit about you.
Whew, child, this is what I do for a living, is try to remind people about you. So, yeah, it can get really egocentric when you hear that because you automatically think I'm not enough or I want some threesomes. So, yeah, it does take a little education to kind of lay in the middle.
Let's talk about you professionally. What is your official professional title? Because I know how I wanted to introduce you, but I was like, nah, I don't want to sell her short.
I do a lot. I got 4 jobs currently. I run an all-state office. So, I flying insurance on the side.
Okay. All right.
I also work as a crisis specialist in a mental health hospital on the weekends.
So
I go out to other places and assess people.
Is it fair to call you a therapist, or is that?
I am a therapist.
Okay.
I am also, having fun with the label psychotherapist. Some people have called me a sexologist because one of my specialties is sexuality and sex addiction.
Okay.
But that kind of sounds like life coaching, so I have a little bit more experience in clinical training than that.
Right.
But
so that's my point, right? So I don't want to just say therapist and then that sells it short.
Is fine. It's an all-encompassing term. Psychotherapist sounds, cooler, but therapist, mental health therapist, that's what I do. I own my own practice, Healing Hearts Counseling Center, here in Memphis. That's. And I run the podcast with 3 other Black persons, 2 Black queers, and another ally called the Gheigh Agenda.
All right. So we're gonna get to that in a second. I want to talk about your practice. You recently opened them?
Yeah, we opened officially April 1st. We've been, planning and working on it since late January.
That's Healing Hearts Counseling Center, right?
Yes, it is.
So,
HHCC.
What made you want to go into that direction to open that?
Well, I was at another clinic here in Memphis where I worked as an adjunct therapist, kind of like a adjunct professor.
Uh-huh.
And an incident happened with a client, a white client, and a couple of white clients. I was already the only minority at the practice, and it was a pretty big practice, right? And I was one of but 3 Black practitioners out of maybe we had a network, maybe 15, 20, whatever. But all the clients were white, not a single Black client, okay? So we're talking about up to 150 people. So I started, because I went to Ole Miss, so I was kind of used to this shit, right? Being the fly in the milk. So I started to break late last year when I was at something called a recon, and a reconstruction I do experiential therapy, so it's like a psychodrama. So basically a client reenacts their entire life story with structure and music and props and stuff like that, and you get to get perspective and feedback about it, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Very powerful, very moving. So I was there, and I remember walking in. I was late because I was Black, and everybody in the room was white. And it had never struck me like that before. Maybe 100 people. And I felt it was so big. I felt like everybody was looking at me. And then also I was the youngest in the room. I usually am.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 28. So I felt that at that moment. And then a couple of weeks later, I was taking clients to equine therapy. And they used some coded language and some not so coded language to basically let me know that I was inferior and inadequate. Things that they said, it struck me in a way where I couldn't go to the defense of being angry because there would be confirmation bias, right? Because they prejudice.
What were they saying?
Well, it was things like, so we were driving around the country in Mississippi. I'm trying to find the damn horse farm or whatever it's called. And I was having problems because the GPS was not taking me there. Damn Google Maps. But so they started saying, can you read?
Oh.
Do you work here? And I'll answer you. Wow, yeah, because I was cute, of course. I had my hair and makeup done and stuff. And so it was just, is your degree in cosmetology? Do you work here? What is your job here?
Wait. Who are these people again?
They were clients.
Okay.
Of the practice. Wow. Not my practice, the other clinic.
Right. Okay.
And I was transporting them to therapy.
Gotcha.
So to go see another therapist, right? Because they were at something called intensive, which is basically like a lock-in for therapy. You do intensive therapy for like 8 to 10 hours a day. But anyway, so they were saying this stuff, and so I had to pull over, first of all, to look at the phone. And then I said to him, like, I have a master's in counseling. I am here in this position because I earned the right to be here. And I also am quite skilled as a therapist. And so it was just like, you know, but they couldn't hear it because, and it's important to remember, the reason that they were there is because they were sick. Like, not physically sick, but sick.
Right.
And so their entitlement was so big that they didn't realize that they were being, you know, they were giving me some coded language, some microaggression. And so, again, I had to keep that in mind because I wanted to shrink and cry. It take a lot to make me cry. And I remember dropping them off and breaking down. And I called, you know, the people who were over the clinic, my supervisors at the time. And I told them what happened. And, you know, they were like, oh, whatever you need around it, I support you. What's up? That's what's up. I had to transport these clients all weekend back and forth.
Wow.
So, it was a commitment I made, right? And so that's also a learning process, though, for me to be able to stand up in my adult self and say, hey, you're not going to talk to me like that. So here's a boundary. We don't talk in the car, period. and I said that. And so, you know, I thought I had the backing of my clinic until they sat me down for a meeting. And basically, they used more coded language, which I didn't understand because they were minority in a religious and a sexuality sense. So I didn't understand how that, like I had to explain, I wear my minority on my sleeve. Nobody knows that you're this. Nobody knows you're that until you say it to them because you're still white. I am a minority all day, every day. And I was trying to convey that to them, and they made me get there.
Wow.
For what they're, instead of saying to their clients who already had entitlement issues, like, hey, this is what you need to do. I didn't feel supported, basically. And so I never forget, I was like, bet money. And so I met up with them like a week or two later, and I said, I'm done. I am out of here. I called the other black girl from the clinic. I told her I'm out of there because I was good. I co-facilitated 2 groups, you know, and I did intakes. I did whatever they asked me to do. I was dedicated and loyal. I'd been there over probably like close to 18 months, right? All over 2,000 hours. So I was, you know, a good therapist. I learned, and I was good. I led groups when they weren't there, and the clients were really receptive towards me. And I was one of the only adjunct therapists that actually liked to do groups because everybody else was so intimidated with stepping into another therapist's shoes. I was. So, shit, I got to be here anyway, you know. That's what I always say. So, once I realized that they didn't support me in the way I needed because it didn't seem like they wanted to understand, I had to go. And I left that day. I left the meeting with them. I said, I'm done. I called the other girl, and I said, hey, I'm out. What's up? She said, bet. We went and looked at the spot. The next day, I signed the lease for our practice, and we ain't looked back since.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
For stepping out and doing that. No, seriously, because like that's courage. You know what I mean? Like you said, a lot of people, you know, they scared to step up into another step. You know what I mean? And you did that. You know, you went and got your own shit.
Man, rent. That's what I went did. Got another big ass bill. But, shit. Private practice is really lonely, and that's why I wanted partners. Because when you hear the things I hear with the specialties I have, it gets heavy. And I didn't want to do it alone. it's always best as a therapist anyway to staff with other people so that you can make sure like you're going in the right direction with a client. If you're having anything that comes up for you personally that, you know, somebody might point it out to you like, hey, you might want to do a little work around this so you make sure you're objective. You know, it's good to also split rent. You know, so I'm so happy. I'm the happiest I've ever been, and I'm no longer scared of being this happy. And that's why I feel just so. I feel light is the word I like to use. You know. Feels good.
I like that. I noticed one thing you do is with your main Twitter account. I noticed that you promote your business on that. Does that doesn't bother you? Like, does it make you feel like you have to limit how you respond to tweets now?
Yeah. So I had this issue today. Because I laughed at, you know, something that was going on the timeline, and wasn't, in my opinion, and this is my bias, wasn't that deep, but people responded with, "Oh, you're a therapist. You shouldn't say anything to tear anybody down." I was like, I didn't. I just laughed at the joke. But okay, so I've already been started to like not talk so much about foreskin or strapping my girlfriend, shit like that. I've already tried to limit myself, but from how I was taught how to counsel, some self-disclosure is important and it helps you relate to the client. Depending on the client, of course. But in how I market myself as a therapist is a Black, queer woman. So that's important for me, for clients to see that, because that's what gets me a lot of my clients, is that I'm like them. I look like them. I understand what they're going through, and I'm competent and qualified. So, you know, I ain't afraid to be or nobody. So, you know, they get that. And so I struggle with, and that's something I struggle with anyway, in my personal life, is being too open versus not open enough. I'm human like everybody else. I'm a regular, schmegular, degular ass person like everybody else. I just went to school for some shit. And so I struggle with that sometimes. So I also have a practice account, but after today, when people were like, "Oh, you're a therapist, you shouldn't laugh at this," and whatever, I was kind of like,
I don't think that's their place to tell you that, though.
Well, some of that is their shit, of course. Yeah. But also, some of it I can hear. I can hear that, and I think, you know what? I would never want to distance somebody who is looking for mental health treatment because of me. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So even though I think that the reasons was bullshit today, I still at the same time can hear that. You know, like that is the good thing about being a therapist, is like you can kind of sift through some of the noise. So I decided, you know, I'm just gonna talk my shit in group chat from now on, right? You know, but also, you know, just the problem, of course, is that my Twitter account is, you know, fake Twitter popular. And so that's a good way for me to market my business. Right. Is by getting retweets and, you know, people refer, man, so many people refer me. I'm so humbled by that, because they would think of me first for counsel. And a lot of people do seek help from me because they follow me on Twitter. Now, once you become a client, you blocked as fuck. You know, because I need that boundary, right? But I do get a lot of people, even if they don't want to be a client, they just like to ask mental health questions. And I make it a point to answer all my DMs, except, you know, nudes. Can you not, please? You know, whoever listening. I have open DMs, yes, but just please don't send me a penis. I didn't ask for that. It's a Tuesday.
Oh, but if it was a chick, it would have been okay, though, right?
No.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Because no double standards here.
No, I don't need that stress in my household. No news matter, goddamn. No, man. You know, you see how the bees be in my mentions. Who you talking to? I don't need a problem. No, my wife's crazy. Don't send me news, please.
Oh, okay. All right.
But yeah, so it's a struggle, but it's something I struggle with personally anyway. It's about being too open.
I don't know. Maybe like, and maybe this is just maybe this is selfish. I don't know, but I totally get where you're coming from with that. I don't want you to feel limited in what you have to tweet. You know what I mean? My hope would be that, you know, you use this to, you know, build up your practice, and then you have this, and then you have your practices account. You know, I don't want you to feel limited or quarantined or watered down, because that is a part of, you know, yes, you're a therapist, you know what I mean? But like you said, you're human. You have your sense of humor, and the people that are doing the referring should know who you are. Like, you're not alienating anyone. You're not putting anyone's business out. You're not breaking any HIPAA laws or anything like that.
Hell no.
But at the same time, you don't want it. I get it. You don't want it to fuck with your money, but I don't think it will.
I don't think it will either, because the people who was trolling me a little bit today about that, they're not people who, they were just trolling.
Okay.
It become clear who be trolling. You know, it was just like clickbait. Like, oh, you're a mental health advocate. How dare you? Oh, I go to Gheigh Agenda. All right. Somebody even made up a whole account, and all they tweets were about me.
Really?
And that's something, yeah, that's weird.
What is that like? Because I haven't reached that status yet. What is that like?
Somebody also has made a fake profile of me, like from screenshots of a video I did a long time ago. Like, people are weird. Yeah, people are really weird. People have pictures of me saved in their phone, and so when it's time to drag, they be ready. I tweeted that picture like 4 months ago. I can tell from the hair I had. Like, you save that picture, you know? My concern is not about me, because I've been through like 15 Twitter drags. Your girl's still here, you know, like, her tweets ain't going nowhere. So I'm more concerned about my wife. You know, I don't want anybody to pull her into that, because she is a sensitive soul, and I will legally and then fight you about her. So I just don't like that, and it just gets so messy, and I never see. Well, sometimes I'm trash, but it never is that serious. Like, people have threatened my son, and you know, like, just all kind of stuff. I've gotten that response from people, and people have hate followed me. I didn't even know that was a thing. It's just so. But I love people, so I always give people the benefit of the doubt. So if you're a nice person, I'm not going to say to you, well, you know, I don't know you like that. And Khadijah stay on my ass about that, because I'm way too nice to people, you know. But yeah, I would recommend you don't get to that level of Twitter eliteness or whatever, because it's not fun.
Yeah, and I mean, I just I'm cool. I'm cool with, you know, where I am. I'm not so concerned about it. I'm not so concerned about it, because that sort of thing happens to my girlfriend. Like, she constantly is getting having her tweets taken out of context just because of who she is, and those sorts of things. And I'm not worried about it, because for one, on her standpoint, she can hold her own. She'll drag a person by themselves, and second of all, you know, if that sort of thing was to happen to me, she'd be right there if I needed it. Not saying that I would, but I just prefer. I do a really good job managing my timeline as far as things that I want to see for my self-care. So if someone was out there doing that or saying those things, hell, they probably are. I would never know it, because of how I've prepped my own timeline and shaped my Twitter experience.
See, I follow too many people. I need to cut it down, man.
Let me tell you what I learned. Let me tell you what I learned about that. Because people will want to clown you for having a lot of followers but not following a lot of people. And again, that's just some self-serving bullshit. I recently cut down my followers, and here's why. There are accounts that I follow that I might have followed out of novelty, or sometimes they post cool things. But there's really only a select few people who I feel have interesting conversation that I want to see all the time. And so I sort of started cutting myself down to that, because I noticed, like, if I would go into one of my other lists, I would look and say, oh, it's cool shit here all the time. But they're just mainly people that I know. So I just cut it down to people that generally have something funny or something cool to say. And I'm good. And now I check my main timeline even more, because at first I used to just didn't check it. I would just tweet for my mentions. But so do that shit. Don't let people shame you into one. If you were looking at somebody's follow ratio, that person has other issues themselves. So that's that.
Well, so my thing is, like, I'm getting followed and following, like, the popular Twitter elite. Black Twitter got an inner circle. And so I just be like, what did they know? I used to be trash, like, in 2013. So, it's just weird to me to get to this place, and then it's important to me, my reputation. It's very important to me. Now, I'm going to talk to you all day about this foreskin on timeline, because why not? But I am a professional. I trained. I went to school. I still own Sally Mae. I am a PhD candidate. I do this shit for real all day, every day. And people think that because I tweet about something funny or shady or, silly, then I'm not a real therapist. And that shit irritates me so. So when you have to constantly defend yourself, you just give up. Because that's sometimes what I have to do. I used to have to do that about being fat, or being ugly to some people. And it just would just get to a point where you just don't care. You don't feel like it. And that might not be your experience, but just as a woman on Twitter, man, my experience is way different. And then when you classify yourself as an expert in something, because I earned that, that makes it even worse, because people are looking to tear you down. They can't wait to subtweet you. Now, I don't care if you subtweet me about this back fat girl, because this Popeye is going to get ate. But don't sub me about counseling, because I earned it. I went to school for that, and I'm a good therapist. It's just people can't see past that. So I get you about cutting. I don't even know how to make a list. Fuck. I'm bad at technology. But, like Khadijah, I'm bad at math too. Khadijah's like, whoa, she gets so frustrated. Because when I first had the iPhone, just real quick, when I first got an iPhone, because I have an iPhone and an Android, because two phones, but whatever. But so when I had it, I first got it, I was like, how do you turn this shit on? I literally just learned how to put the phone on silent 2 weeks ago. And I've had this phone since.
I just want you to know from the bottom of my heart, friend to friend, that's fucking terrible.
I had this phone before my birthday in March. I learned how to put it on silent. Then I didn't know where the periods were in the keyboard, because Android keyboard is very different. I didn't know what the periods were, so I'm texting my girlfriend, and I wouldn't have no punctuation marks. And it looked like I was being aggressive, and I wasn't. So she's texting me like mean shit, and I'm like, whoa, how to get here? How to get here?
Yo, listen.
I would have to call her.
Here's what you do. I'm gonna give you a real quick tip. When you're typing out stuff on the iPhone, if you want a quick period, just tap the space bar twice.
Not somebody told me. I think it might have been you in my mentions the other day, like, that told me. I've had this phone for like 5 months. I mean, this shit is complicated, okay? So I was just like, I'm so used to Android. I didn't know how to turn Siri on. My son was so annoyed with me. I will never forget that. the day I got this song, he was in the backseat like, oh my God, can we just go home? Because I was like, Siri, find me an Indian restaurant. And nothing would come up. And I was like, Siri, I'm yelling at the phone. I didn't know you had to go in and turn Siri on. I'm like, oh. So then when she get on, she act like she can't recognize my accent. So I had a real attitude about that.
The more you talk to her, the more she'll recognize.
I don't like that bitch and she don't like me. That's just where it is. Okay, I don't use Siri.
When y'all, the next time you come down here to Atlanta, I'm gonna get you set straight.
We will be there in 2 weeks just to kick mine. Last time we was in Atlanta, I was so disappointed. I didn't see no rappers, no celebrities. I didn't see Real Housewives.
You already fucking up. You already fucking up. If that's what you came down here to see, and you didn't see it. Yes, of course you're gonna be disappointed.
No flamboyant gays. I was disappointed.
All
You hear me?
I'm gonna take y'all everywhere. Okay, whatever you want to see, I'm gonna take it where you can see it. Okay.
We went to the aquarium and stuff. Yeah, I was disappointed, but it is what it is.
All right. So real quick. So you just started the podcast, the Gheigh Agenda. Tell us about it. I really want to have y'all on the show, but I want my listeners to to find you guys to listen to it, because I was listening to it before the show, and it's awesome. So tell us about it. How we got here.
Well, first of all, so it was so random. I swear to God, Corey. So I think it was late night on Twitter. My girl went to bed. I was, pretending to be asleep, but I wasn't. And so, people tweeting about something that happened with Republicans or some shit. The Gheigh Agenda is upon us, and I'm like what? What the fuck are y'all talking about? So, they was talking about and you always hear about the Gheigh Agenda, and us gays always make the joke like it's laminated this year, and I was thinking, and I move really fast. Like when I have an idea, it doesn't take me weeks or nothing like that to get it done. I get it done. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what if I bought and I tweeted this. You can go look at my tweets. That's crazy how it started. I was like, what if I bought and made a podcast called The Gheigh Agenda? And so somebody else was like, man, that should be live. And so then they went and looked it up for me because, your girl don't know how to Google real good. And so they was like, that's already taken. And I'm like, wait, what about how we spell it? Geigh when we being fancy. And so they was like, that's open. So then Melinda, who is the 3J's mom, she's also a business partner of mine at the practice. She does our Reiki for clients, our energy work and healing. So she, we work together. And so she was like, yeah, I have a domain through this website. So, you might want to check it out. Go and get it. Bye. So I went and bought the domain. And a big money, it was $5. And so I went and bought the domain. And then I started talking to my girlfriend, and we was talking about it, and she was just like, I'd like to be on. And then Q, he saw my tweets, and so he was like, I like to be on. So we just created a group chat, and we just talked about, what would we talk about? And it'd be obvious, for me, since I'm a therapist and one of my specialties is LGBT-related issues, to talk about that from a psychology or a counseling point of view. Uh-huh. Melinda is really good at, spirituality and stuff like that. So that's her shit. Q, a messy bitch that lives for drama. So he was going to do it. So, and then Khadijah is, oh my God, my girlfriend's so fucking awesome. She's really cultured, and she's also really spiritual and just knowledgeable about just a bunch of shit. I can't believe she my country ass. And so her and Melinda kind of do they split the social, cultural, religious, part about it. So we were just all right, well, let's do it. And so we started talking more, the four of us, and obviously I got to talk to my girl every day. And so we just was talking and we just got so excited about it, you know? And I love our regular job too, so it's like our creative outlet.
Mm-hmm.
And when Melinda created the logo and at Bama Slam, I think that's his name, created like one of like the logos for like our Teespring campaign, the MJ crying face on the Golden Girls. I was like, all right, yeah, we here. And so we just are so happy. So we recorded our first episode last week, Memorial Day. So we're gonna do bi-weekly for now until we pick up. But like we already have over 100 listens. Is that what you say? Listens, taps, clicks, plays.
Listens or down. Each listens count as a download. So yeah.
So we have a lot of those, and it's just going well. Like the first episode, me and Khadijah for our date night, we listened to it, the raw cut, and it was just nice. It's like we're all talking as friends, so we all talk from, again, an LGBT perspective. We take questions at our mailbag at thegheigagenda.com. That's THEGEIGHAGENDA.com. Follow us on Twitter at The Gheigh Agenda, spelled the same way. And we're just excited about this. And our next episode is going to be about biphobia. And a lot of people, like, transphobia is a buzzword, right? And homophobia, everybody already know about. But biphobia is like, you know, the redheaded stepchild that don't know what to talk about. So we're going to do that. But this episode that we did was about how important visibility is for LGBT persons in the media. You know, what it means. And I'm just excited, and just to hear people's feedback from it so far, it's just been really awesome. And it wasn't just like regular, like I asked my clinical psychology and, you know, counseling friends to listen to it. And I was nervous as a motherfucker about that, okay? Because, one, I cuss, and I ain't your regular white coat type of therapist. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm country as hell. I eat my pork chop sandwich one bite at a time like everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was nervous about what my peers were thinking. They were really receptive. They loved it. They thought it was on point. It was relevant. Most important, it was clinically sound. And we just did a good job. And so I'm just really proud of us. I love all those people I work with, especially, you know, the one I'm, you know, tied to financially, mostly.
So
no, I'm kidding. I love my wife.
Where all can we listen to the show at?
You can check out our website, thegheigagenda.com, SoundCloud, iTunes. I'm the wrong person to ask this. Because, you know, I don't know media stuff. But I do know we're on those too.
Okay.
So I think most people do SoundCloud now. iTunes.
Yeah, when you're podcasting, you kind of whether you have an iPhone or not, or Apple products or not, you kind of have to be on iTunes because they are the standard. You know what I mean? Like you kind of just have to do it. You kind of have to be there because they invented the medium, and that's where you'll get the most notoriety in your listens from.
Right. And you know, me and you talked about this, and we were approved. Actually, right after y'all come with the conversation, we were approved. And they uploaded it again. I don't even know what a period is on my iPhone. I'm an Android girl.
That's another thing. That's another thing. Google Play Music just introduced their podcast section, so you want to be sure you be on there too.
Yeah. Well, see, I will let them know. I'm just the business part. I'm figuring out the contracts. That's how I do. Like, I make that very clear from the beginning. I am the muscle and the money. That's it. I have no idea what to do. Nah, I'm kidding. We all financially stable. Ain't that dope to have a group of people that you ain't worried about money? you know.
No, that's amazing. That is very amazing. And I'm proud to hear
It's really amazing, my coupleship, because my girlfriend, look, I can't wait to sleep there rent. But
this has
God,
been.
she gonna listen to this. I'm be in so much trouble.
This has been amazing. Hopefully she enjoys it. Hopefully everybody on the show enjoys it, and hopefully they listen to this and they all are cool with coming on the show, because I would love to have y'all here and to help you guys promote this, because I want it to be a success.
Well, we want you. I already talked to them. We already agreed. We would love to have you. Like I said, you know, we do.
Aww.
We will be releasing the show every 2 weeks. Just because the content that we do, it might get heavy sometimes because of the clinical part.
Yeah.
And we want to do self-care. And then also just because we also work, we just kind of want to get a feel for it. We might upgrade to weekly. We don't know yet. Just, you know. So, again, we do LGBT-related issues. So that is the perspective that we work from.
That's completely cool. Like I'm a supporter of it, and I don't feel like I have to be gay, bi, lesbian, or trans to support that. So, yeah.
My allies are important. Y'all are able to exist in spaces that we can't.
Right.
And it's important to have that. You know, there's the same thing for us being black and having white allies. They important, whether we want to realize it or not.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for having me on.
Hey, no, thank you for coming on.
This is an honor. This is the first podcast I've done of mine.
Oh, yeah? Turn up.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, like, if this was a body count, I'm at 2. Technically, I'm still Aisha Curry and shit. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Hopefully, people will walk away knowing that therapists are people too.
Exactly. Exactly. Before I let you go, did you have any questions or anything you wanted to ask me?
I just want to promote something, if that's okay.
Yes. Take this time to promote whatever you got going on.
I bet. So I wanted to give a shout out to my little cousin. No, I'm kidding. So, my practice is hosting a free, completely free, no cost, no worry, nothing like that, day of counseling. It will be the first of 2 events here in Memphis. It will be June 14th. From 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. We will be doing couples counseling, family, group, individual that day. I would prefer if you could make an appointment. So, you know, if it's time, if you're time constrained, it takes about 50 minutes to get through a session. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, to make sure that we give you what you need. And we know that in Memphis, like, the violence and everything is getting really big, and a lot of people have trauma and everything from that. So we would love to just kind of give back for that. So if you have any questions or you want to schedule an appointment, visit healingheartsmemphis.com. It spells it exactly like it sounds. Or call us at 901-343-0346. Or you can add me on Twitter. I'm sure Corey gonna like link my Twitter account or tag me or something.
All of that. I want you to text me. I want you to text me that, because I'm definitely going to make sure that it's seen.
Okay, cool. So it's Country Corner. That's my personal Twitter, and then my practice account is HHCC Memphis. We're also on Facebook. So if you have any questions, again, you can call us, and our email is hhccmemphis@gmail.com. Again, this will be the first of 2, so if you can't make this one, we will be holding another one next month. The date and time will be determined. And also just follow my podcast, follow Twitter, and I am accepting new clients for individual, couples, family therapy. So is the other therapists that I practice. If you want to know more about what we do and our specialties and modalities, visit us at healingheartsmemphis.com. And the things I said tonight are reflective of me personally and my practice. My partners are very different from me. So please, if you can keep an open mind, That would be dope. I have to say it, you know. Because, I mean, anytime you say foreskin, you kind of got to have a disclaimer.
The views and opinions expressed here by Quinn are not necessarily those of Healing Hearts Counseling Center in Memphis, Tennessee.
Thank you, God. I gotta say that, even though I own it, right? You know,
right.
There we are.
This has been an absolute pleasure. You are just a big ball of joy. I have enjoyed this. I got a really, really great laugh, which I needed. That was really awesome of you. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
I'd like to thank our guests for coming on today. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, send an email to otap@writeme.com. Follow the conversation on Twitter by searching the hashtag OTAP, that's OTAP, or following us on Twitter at OTAP Show. You can find the show on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Android users can listen to the podcast on Podcast Republic. Just download the app and search OTAP Show. On behalf of our guest, I'm your host, Corey, and I'll see you back here next week on the Air Podcast, starring you.